if conceiving a child would be disastrous for you, you believe, then do not participate in activities that literally billions of times in the past have resulted in the conception of a child. If reproduction, maybe I'll phrase it this way, because I really want to make it very simple for these people. They have difficulty understanding complex concepts. So we're going to dumb it down as much as possible. If reproduction would be a disaster for you, you believe, then do not participate in the reproductive act. Control yourself. Right? We're human beings. We should be able to exercise some self-control.
Matt Walsh, preaching self-control, but only for those women, those filthy women that spread up their legs and want to have sex without the consequence of having a baby every time. How dare they? It's weird because Matt Walsh, as our sleuth producers pointed out, has 4 children. So that would, I guess, would lead us to believe that his wife has only had sex 4 times. Maybe Matt Walsh has only had sex 4 times. Do you think that's a possibility? He's got 4 children and apparently don't participate in the act of reproduction unless you're ready to reproduce that very second. Weird how that works. Also,
I say it was just one time.
Yeah.
And she froze the rest and was like, please, let's never do that again.
This is one of those instances, we talked about it yesterday when we were preparing this, where this is one instance where I don't understand when guys say things like this. Hey, you dirty woman, close your legs. Why are you having so much sex? And then the next second go, how come you're turning me down? What are you being a prude for? It's so weird how you think women shouldn't participate in the thing that you're trying to get them to participate in with you.
Yeah.
So okay, if you're saying women stop having sex, that also means, hey, men, stop having sex. But also, what about if you're married? Because I want to go to some of those stats. Because apparently, only these young 19-year-old wild women who run around and sleep with everyone are the ones that's the problem. It's weird because there's women that maybe don't want to have sex with their husbands, their boyfriends, or maybe they're done having children after they've had 4. And then things like this potentially happen. I'm not sure of always the reasons, but this is definitely a problem. This is status from the Health Research Funding Org. 30% of all adult rape cases were committed by husbands, common law partners, or boyfriends. 29% of all sexual assaults of adult women were committed by husbands, common law partners, or boyfriends. 9% of all reported rapes were committed by a husband or an ex-husband. Up to 30% of women asking for spousal support or maintenance in a divorce have reported at least one forced sexual assault by a partner. Now, the reason why they maybe didn't report it more is because this wasn't even a law about spousal rape until 1993. On July 5th, marital rape became a crime in all 50 states under at least one section of the sexual offense codes. However, in 30 states, there are still some exemptions given to husbands from rape prosecution. In most of these 30 states, a husband is exempt when he does not have to use force because his wife is most vulnerable. For example, she's mentally or physically impaired, unconscious, asleep, and all those. And he's unable, and she is unable to consent. One last part about this before I get more of your thoughts on it, because the other part is, hey, why be teaching these kids these filthy things about having sex? You know they're gonna run around and open up their legs. No, it's just the girls who are gonna run around, open up their legs. The boys aren't gonna run around dropping their pants, because that doesn't happen. It's just the girls' fault, right? But when we don't teach kids about sex ed, or we say abstinence only, you know what happens in those situations? Check out this map. Because there's 25 states that require teachers to stress abstinence as the best option. Those states that don't require lessons about contraception tend to have higher teen birth rates. So it's like a vicious cycle. Stop having sex. God's gonna hate you. Oh my God, don't know anything about contraception or even any ways to prevent pregnancy. But then after it happens, say, how dare you do those things? You know what? I can't believe that you would violate God's law by having sex that we didn't teach you anything about, or teach you anything about preventing or being safe with, or any of those types of things. And then afterwards, we can complain and say it's all your fault. Or we can just not care about the adult women who get involved in some really bad relationships sometimes. We can exclude these men that rape them and just say, it's your fault. Actually, it's not surprising. This is the approach someone like Matt Walsh would have.
No, we are back to abstinence only for everyone and no sex for pleasure. Like that's literally the campaign they want to run. No sex for pleasure. I mean, we have like 30-year-old misogynist virgins running our political system. Like not even, right? 70-year-old misogynist virgins, like people who like, you don't know how they had kids. You don't know if everything's made up, right? Are they real? Have we seen the proof that they've had kids? Like this is the level of bizarre culture war that in the year 2022 they're trying to drag out, right? And not to mention, if we're actually talking about abortion, we're talking about reproduction, 60% of people who seek abortions are already parents, guys. 60% already parents. They can't afford more kids. They don't want more kids. Your dumbass was enough for them. They don't want any more. And it is a decision that they're making with their partner. No, we don't want any more kids. So the entire thing with this like just gross, fascist hipster over there, whose face I never wanted to see, and now I know what he looks like. Now I can't unsee him in his like weird log cabin, his literal log cabin. Doesn't have anything to do with the fact that maybe all this is like some closeted, unresolved homosexual feelings. We can't say that apparently.
Can't say for sure.
Especially for the world that they're building, because nobody's gay. Don't say gay. Anyway, it's just like, okay, yeah, dude, run on that. Great, amazing. And this is the thing, is like, they won't stop having sex. They are just making more excuses for rapists and creeps like themselves.
100%. It's as long as it's always someone else's fault and it's backed up by these types of folks, and now legislators and the Supreme Court, free reign.